Welcome to the Happy Brain Miracle Masterclass. Wonderful to see you all out there. I love all of you to come on camera. If you can come on camera and all of you can greet each other with a broad, beaming, radiating smile, that would be wonderful. Lovely to see all of you on cam. Let's all come on camera and greet each other. Happy New Year to everyone. We are still in the maybe in the second week of this year. And let's make this year a wonderful year for everyone out there. Thank you very much for being part of this lovely journey that we are going to go through in the next 3 days. And I wish you and your family a wonderful time ahead. So before we get further, let me check first. My audio, video, all coming good? Can you hear me and you can see me also? Thank you very much. For many of you, I can see giving me a thumbs up. Thank you for writing on the chat as well. Yes, great. Before we go further, I would love to know which city you're from. If you can just write your name and the city you belong to, from where you are connecting right now. That would be wonderful to know which place you are from. Suraj from Bangalore. Welcome, Surajji. I can see audio is low. I can see a lot of Bangalore. Chandrasekhar ji is from Bangalore. Umakant ji from Kolkata. Chandru ji is from Bangalore. Ajit Singh ji from Mumbai. Bangalore again. Animesh ji is from Ajak. Matthew is from Alleppey. Welcome, Ajak ji. I can see Hyderabad. Sunil ji is from Pune. Suvash ji is from Pune. Balkrishna ji from Delhi. Kashmir. Manzoor ji. Welcome, Manzoor ji. Welcome. PS. I don't get the name, but PS from Mysore. Welcome. Chennai, Monji is from. Wonderful to see people from every corner of the country, every part of the country. That's so heartening to see. Sitapati ji from Bangalore, Chennai. I can see Pradeep ji from Delhi. Lovely. See, I can see the list is now pretty long. Thank you very much for being part of this journey. Happy Brain Miracle Masterclass, and let's go in for this fascinating journey and do some changes to our lives. That's what is the objective of this whole program. So great to see all of you, and responding on the chat box is giving me a lot of energy and love. Thank you very much for this. Let me bring on the slides without taking any further time. Let's get on to the Happy Brain Miracle Masterclass. Just give me a moment. So we are on to the journey, so we keep ourselves on track. Yeah. Lovely. Now give me a quick response. Is the slide visible to you? If you can see the slide, you can see me and my audio is coming across. Just write AG, all good. That stands for all good, AG. Yeah, I can see AG flooding in. That means everything is fine. My audio, video, and the slide all are on track, and we are on track. Thank you very much for your quick and great responses. Before we proceed further, few of the things which would be of help to all of us. We have kept all of you on mute mode. Reason being, the noise, background noise will not distract us. At the same time, any difficulty, any understanding issue, anything that you need to know, please do type on the chat box. We will extensively be using the chat box so that we know what is the problem, what is that you need to know from us. So that's what you'll be using. And when I ask for some response, I would be so thankful if you can write those responses on the chat box. Second thing, that please keep a notepad and pen with you. Please do take note. That helps us learn also. Any question that comes to your mind, please keep that in that notepad, and the appropriate moment you can just put it, so that I can respond to you. And keep a budget of about 60 to 70 minutes from now. So maybe we'll be going up to 8:30 to maximum about 8:40 or 8:45 at best. Keep yourself anchored to this Zoom meeting till that point in time. And I'm sure we are going to have a fascinating time as you proceed further. Again, formally, let me welcome you all to this Happy Brain Miracle Masterclass. We are going to go for 3 days, and let's make the best of it. And let me tell you, this program is a very interactive, participative program in terms of transforming ourselves. We'll learn certain things wherein we can apply those techniques which should transform us. That's what is the objective of this 3 days course. So learning those and applying those is the essence. Once again, thank you very much. And once again, I would love all of you to be there with camera on mode all through this session and take note, understand things, apply them, and change your life. With that thought, thank you very much once again, and let's get on to the journey. Now, why this masterclass? What is the reason that we have come up with this Happy Brain Miracle Masterclass? This question many people, they do ask, and there is a reason for this. And the reason is we are in search of happiness because there is a problem. The problem is hundreds, thousands, and millions of people on this planet are undergoing these conditions: stress, anxiety, irritation, worry, procrastination, sleeplessness, guilt, shame, depression. All these are now so prevalent. People have forgotten to get a sense of happiness of life. And that's why we have come up with this program. And you definitely appreciate how powerful is this program to give you that, to get rid of these conditions, which are by default now are coming to our brain. And what science has found out is this, that not necessarily because of adverse circumstances, we are suffering or we are unhappy, not because of lack of money or some other issues outside which is causing unhappiness. It is because of our lack of ability to keep ourselves happy. Our lack of ability to train our brain to be happy is what is causing the most of misery, agony, and pain in our mind on this planet to most of the people. If you agree with this, just write train the brain, TTB. Just write TTB if you agree with this, that our brain training skill is lacking. Yeah. Train the brain. If we can train our brain to be happy, we can be happy. That's what science is saying. And that's what we are going to learn as we proceed through this 3 days program. Wonderful. Lovely, lovely to see the way you are responding, the speed at which the responses are coming is, I'm so thankful for that. Thank you. That gives me a sense that all of you are with me and we are going on this journey together. Great, great. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Lovely. Now moving further and finding out this. By default, science has also figured out by default, because of our evolution process, our brain has been designed to be negative. Why? Because a negative brain helps us survive. That means if you are always being very, very alert, that there'll be a challenge, there'll be a problem, there'll be a snake, there'll be a tiger or lion or something who is more dangerous to your survival, you will be more alert for the survival. And survival has been the essence of evolution. So our brain has been trained to survive, and survival brain means a negative brain. By default, brain is like this. But the problem is, in modern era, in human life, this is not going to help. In animals, it works. In human life, when we have a fabulous, powerful brain, we need to do something so that by default, our brain becomes this. And this is a possibility. We'll understand as we proceed through this program that this is what gives us more happiness, and even it helps us lead a better quality of life where the brain is calm, relaxed, organized, balanced, focused, and joyful. If you agree with me on this, that this brain is a better quality life, just write A. A stands for agree, or you can write agree. Just write agree. A or agree. That means by default, we are having a survival brain, but that brain is not giving a quality life to us. We are suffering, we are stressed, we are having depression, anxiety, fear, anger. All these things are there. Little bit of thing, we are angry. Some small thing happening, we are anxious. Reading a news and we are having worry. All these things are happening because brain design is like that. A small trigger outside and we are again getting into a negative state of mind. Now, how to train our brain by default to remain in a positive state? That's what we are going to learn in this whole thing. Now, moving further, I have been uttering this word, happiness, the science of happiness. People ask me, is there a science which is called the science of happiness? Yes, this science of happiness has come into existence only in last around 30 years. In the mid-90s, it has come to existence with few of the mainstream sciences and studies contributing. Positive psychology, one branch of psychology, which is also contributing to the science of happiness. Cognitive neuroscience, again, emergent field of neuroscience, which tries to understand what is happening in the brain so that we are behaving in a proper way or a particular way. We are experiencing life in a particular way, and we are expressing our different aspects in a particular way. So it's about, if I'm speaking, what is happening in the brain? If I'm sad, what is happening in the brain? What part of my brain is active and which part is not active? If I'm happy, what is happening in the brain? All these things now can be studied and observed by certain modern gadgets. So cognitive neuroscience also is contributing to the science of happiness. Behavioral economics, a branch of economics, especially the psychological aspects of economics. And more importantly, most importantly, now science is taking cognizance of the Eastern meditative practices and wisdom. So that's been taken into the fold. A lot of research is happening in this fold. How should we keep our mind? What way we should think? What are the meditative practices we should follow so that we can be happy? That's also being part of the science of happiness. In a way, you can say this is one of the sciences which is taking both science and spirituality into its fold. When I say spirituality, it's about the practices of the mind, of the ancient practices of the mind, the meditative practices of the mind, and the philosophies. So this has also been taken into cognizance when we are taking science of happiness to the forefront. Now, what does it do? Beautiful thing, fascinating thing. It tries to understand what is the state of our happiness, how happy or unhappy are we. We can measure that to an extent. At the same time, we can elevate that default happiness state. They call it the happiness set point. So we can raise that set point to a level. And at that, if we can raise that, by default, we can be happy. So when we look at science of happiness, it's an empowering science and an interesting, fascinating science. Just write FE, fascinating science and empowering science. You can write FES. FES. It's a fascinating and empowering. Why empowering? Because by knowing certain aspects of the science of happiness, we can make ourselves happy. Lovely, lovely, lovely to get your responses. Fascinating and empowering study. That's what we're getting into today. And for the next 3 days, we'll be anchored to that. Lovely, lovely, brilliant, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful to see all your responses coming really, really fast. Now, let me tell you, my journey it didn't start with this. Would you like to know a little bit about me, how I landed up in this science, how I came to this field of science of happiness? Would you like to know a little bit about that? Yeah, thank you. Thank you for giving me that permission. Let me just narrate a little bit about me, because I have gone through a difficult journey, I would say, and then I could come out, and this helped me a lot, changing myself as well. I joined corporate in the year 1993 as a management trainee in a huge organization, and in a public sector organization, the Steel Authority, where I started my career. And my journey in the corporate world was pretty good outside. I was doing pretty good, growing in my career. But one thing which was definitely haunting me was my health and my mindset. In fact, at the age of 28, I had blood pressure, high blood pressure. So I had to take medicine. And not for 1 or 2 years, almost like 20 years I had medicine. So that was the challenge I was facing. Outside, everything was apparently good, but inside I was having turbulence, agitation, stress. All these things were actually corroding my internal systems. It went to the extent that in about 15 years, in 2008, my weight, I was obese. I was almost having 93 kilograms of weight. My height is only about 5 feet 7 inches, or little less than that maybe. But my weight was 93 kilograms, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, all these things were there. I was stressed and always feeling very anxious about things. And 2008 was the year when there was a turnaround. Many things changed in my life. It was in 2008 October. We had been to Jim Corbett National Park on a pleasure trip with family. And at that point in time, we landed up in a wonderful resort. And from there, on the first afternoon rather, we had entered into the jungle on foot. They call it nature walk. And at that time, my younger son was only 1.5 years old. So my wife could not join that nature walk. So my younger son and my wife, they stayed back. My elder son was only about 7 years old that time. And he also joined me. We entered into the jungle, but there was something dangerous that happened. We lost track from the rest of the group. It was a group of about 20 people. Most of them were, in fact, all of them were adults, except for my son. So we were not catching up with the group. For some reason, we got disconnected because of some miscommunication. And we followed a wrong track. I thought we'll come back to the resort, but we moved in a wrong direction. And we actually entered into the dense forest. And after some time, in fact, we came to a place which was a dry river bed. It was a dry river bed, only sand, and we were stranded there. And to add to this, the most dangerous thing that happened, there was a tiger in the vicinity. And it was probably within 50 meters of where we were stranded. And that moment, I was almost like so scared, so panicked. I was feeling like I'm falling down. I was shaking and I was feeling like I will fall down. And I thought everything is over now. But thankfully, because of grace, something happened. I could just take one pause. I said, why not I just take charge of my mind and stay calm? Let me respond to the situation. Let me just calm down. I tried to calm myself down for a few moments with some deep breaths. And then it was magical. I could immediately think of that in the school days, I had gone through Jim Corbett and Kenneth Anderson books, and they would suggest if you find anytime tiger is around, you have to give a sense that you know the tiger is around and you should behave as if you're ready to face it. So start talking at the peak of your voice and as if there are many people around, so you start conversing with people. And that I did. And again, there was some miraculous thing happened, like my mobile rang at that point in time, although we were in near the not very far from the resort, but in the midst of the forest. In 2008, my mobile got signal. There was a flicker of signal. It rang. I disconnected that call and then connected to the resort, asking them for help. Thankfully, the rescue came just at the nick of time. And as I jumped off to the jeep, I in fact, immediately, I almost like fainted when I jumped off to the rescue jeep. And they were very annoyed. How could you come here? The tiger was they rotated the light and we could see the tiger. It was only about maybe 40 meters from where we were stranded. But that day gave me two huge life lessons. One is life is so unpredictable. You never know what will happen at what point in time. That's one. It was an experience. All of us, we say that, but it was an experience that I had at a deeper level, that unpredictability is at a highest level. And the second thing is my mind saved me. My mind saved me because one, I could recall that what I need to do when tiger is around. So I need to behave appropriately and respond appropriately. That's one. Number two, I could direct the rescue team to reach us by following certain unusual creative methods. I asked them, when I saw them at a distance, I asked them to rotate the light because it was early evening, almost like evening. So rotate the light, and the light direction, I said, yes, move in that direction. All these directions actually I gave them. That could be possible because my mind worked like magic at that point in time. I was not panicked. I was creative. I was composed. And internally, I was feeling, yes, I'm coming out of this. So confident I was at that point in time. I said, how this could be a possibility in the extreme condition? That means mind has something, we can access that mind. And that was one thing, again, that came to my mind. If we take charge of this, we can take charge of our life. So these two things, life is unpredictable and take charge of your mind, that triggered, propelled me to change my career itself. I was in marketing. I came to how to train people, become a coach and mentor. So if you found this a fascinating story, scary story, when I share this story, I still feel that vibration. What happens? I have goosebumps because it was almost like a near death experience. I was feeling like it's all over. Just right. Scary and interesting. SI, if you found it scary, at the same time interesting and life-changing. So that point, that moment, I took a call. I shifted from marketing to human resource development to train people, become a trainer. And then I became a faculty in the Management Training Institute of SAIL. Also, I became the head of academics there. And in 2016, I got an amazing opportunity to connect with IIT Kharagpur with their Science of Happiness Center. Science of Happiness Center across the globes are now coming up, whether it is Harvard, Princeton, Oxford or Cambridge, all across the globe, biggest of the universities now are doing research in the area of the science of happiness. And in IIT Kharagpur, they have a center. In India, they are the only premier institute to have a center of the science of happiness. And I got an opportunity to collaborate with them, learn from there, and then take it further and do it across the country. Hundreds of workshops we did, many retreats we did, and you can see the person at the center of your screen, Dr. Samdu Chetri. He was one of the mentors at IIT Kharagpur who also taught a lot of things to me. And we also conducted many workshops together. I collaborated with Dr. Chetri, and we had retreats and workshops. And in the first retreat itself at Netarhat, a place in Jharkhand, where he said, Sandip is a great teacher of happiness and mindfulness. And I witnessed his teaching at Netarhat and was not just impressed, but learned from him. It was his humility that speaks. He's a fabulous, exceptional, respected person in the area of science of happiness in the entire globe. And I'm so fortunate to learn from him and also to be a partner and collaborate with Dr. Chetri, who was the first and the founder, executive director of the Gross National Happiness Center of Bhutan. It's one of its kind in the entire world, and that's why he's respected and regarded in this field. So that was the journey, how I came to the science of happiness, and then we could impact thousands of people's life, transforming their life from a terrain of anxiety, stress, and worry and fear to happiness and calmness and blissful, joyful life. That's what we are going to share with you also. And my mission has been to take it to more than 1 lakh people, wherein they can learn and they can really make an impact in the society. I'm so thankful to all of you. After the digital mode came, I actually quit my job in 2020 and started this journey as Academy of Unlimited Mind, now in partnership with LifeWill. And thankfully, in the last 2 years, thanks to the digital mode, we have impacted more than 15,000 people's life, and they are also taking it further. And I'm so thankful to you that you have joined. I'm sure you will also take it further and help more and more people and bring smiles to their families and them. So that is how everything started. That is how our course got created. And I'll quickly take you through the course outline, and then we'll get on to day one's core idea, core theme, and the technique, which can help us overcome certain challenges of our mind and make our mind more powerful. So the first day, this is the course outline. The day 1, we will learn about something called the human trap. The human trap. The human trap is something which is causing every one of us sufferings in the mind. So that suffering we'll understand by becoming aware of it. The human trap is what we're going to learn. And we'll also do a very powerful technique at the end of the session today. A powerful technique which would give us the first sense of how to proceed, how to come out of the challenges. Yeah? So that's day 1. Day 2, we are going to look at the structure and the nature of the brain and how it mediates the mind. What are the different aspects of mind and how to take charge of the mind by understanding the miracle formula. So we will understand the mind, and the miracle formula will be unveiled tomorrow. And day after tomorrow, we are going to look at how to implement all these learnings and transform our life. Although we'll be doing it every day, but on day 3, we'll be learning 3 superpowers, which are there always in every human being. These 3 superpowers are there, and this we'll use to transform ourselves, to come out of misery and get to the state of blissful, joyful, happy life. That's what we will start learning. But having said that, let me make one thing very, very clear. These 3 days are going to be powerful, but they can only add value to our life if we implement them. And 3 days are not sufficient. We have to take some time. So I'll give you a template. A 21 days template will be shared with you. You have to follow through all these practices every day so that you can bring in changes in your life. 3 days, yes, we will have some sense, some idea, some changes. But if you just live there, it is not going to help you. So you have to impact and change your life by applying these techniques for 21 days or more. So that's what we are also going to share on day 3. Day 3, our session duration will be a little longer than usual. Today and tomorrow, it will be about 70 minutes. And on day 3, it will be around 90 minutes to 100 minutes. Reason being 2 additional things. One, we'll be sharing our advanced course detail. There is an advanced course where I take you through a longer period of journey, but that's not compulsory. You are absolutely, it's your choice whether you want to join us or not. And that will take about 10 minutes so that I'll explain what are the possibilities that you can continue the journey with us. And the second thing that we'll do is all your queries, questions will be handled on that day. Every query, question, every personal issue that you have, please do share with us. I will take those questions and try to help you. And also any doubts that you have on this course, that also will be handling on that day. Almost like half an hour's time will devote to that interaction. So this is the course outline. Is it clear? Day 1, we are going to find out what is it that is causing problem. What is it that is causing unhappiness and suffering in the mind? Day 2, we are going to look at what we can do so that we can come out of it. How the miracle formula can help us come out of human trap. That's day 2. Day 3, how to implement the miracle formula so that we can change our life, applying 3 super powerful tools. If it is clear, just write CC, means crystal clear. This is important. We need to understand what we're going to do in these 3 days so that we can apply. Please do write CC. Thank you very much. Crystal clear. Any doubt, you can definitely ask me. Yeah, brilliant. Lovely. Great. Crystal clear. Thank you. Now, on day 3, also, we are going to share the bonuses which we have promised, including the book. So this book will be shared with all of you on day 3. You'll be getting the book. So please do join in every live session so that you'll not miss out on anything. Again, let me remind, please take note and do check your understanding by asking question if you have in the chat box, wherever you have a doubt. Yeah. Great. Wonderful. Now, I have a question to ask. Responses vary. That means under the same challenge, same problem, same difficulty, same catastrophe, you would find two individuals, two category of individuals, let's say two individual. One is so calm, composed, responding in a very matured manner and bouncing back from that difficult situation faster. Whereas another gentleman or a woman who is completely devastated by it, torn from inside, unable to respond, and panicking, internally distressed. Same situation, same condition, same problem, same challenge, but two different individuals having two different approach to the same problem. Do you agree with this? Just write agree. Just write A for agree. If you agree with this. Two individuals, same problem. And Science of Happiness actually wants to know those elements. Why is it happening? Two persons, same situation, one person is so agitated, other person is so composed. One person is unable to respond, the other person is responding in such a matured and appropriate manner. Why is this? Those elements is what we are going to find out, and can we improve upon that? And I would like to take you one step further. It's not even two different individuals. The same individual under the same circumstance with two different mindset responds differently. How? I just give you the example. The same Jim Corbett National Park where I was stranded and the tiger was around, under one circumstance, under one mindset, I was about to fall down, and that would have been the end of the story, end of my life, end of even my child was there with me. But in the second mindset, the second state of being, I was so alert, so composed, calm, creative, responding to the situations appropriately, and saved my life. The only change was the state of the mind. If it sounds like wow, let's all write wow. It is about that state of the mind which we are going to look at. Changing that state of mind, changing that mind state or mindset is going to change everything. And when we are writing wow, let me give you the first hack. When we are saying like wow, when we say like this wow and write wow, say I'm happy and wonderful, our internal state of being changes. The flow of chemical changes. When I say like this state itself, by doing like this, I can change my internal state to a little extent. We'll be discussing more on this on day 2 and 3. So let's get on. So let's get on and let's get to the task. Just say wow, and that's what changes a lot of things. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, there is a wonderful response. No wow, because we all know it. The problem is we know many things, but we don't do that. Good that you brought that point. Yeah, but say wow. Wow saying itself can change a lot of things. Lovely. Now coming to something called the human trap. Human trap. And this human trap is what we're going to learn right now. Why we are learning this? What is it that we're going to learn in human trap? This is an awareness. We know what is it that is causing agony, pain, misery, discomfort in the mind. What are those things that we need to know why I am not happy? Why should we know? There is a scientist, a very regarded, revered scientist in the domain of contemplative neuroscience. His name is Dr. Richard Davidson. Dr. Richard Davidson is also author of the book, The Science of Meditation. Please take note. These things you can take note, and later on maybe you can read these books. The Science of Meditation, which is jointly authored by Dr. Richard Davidson and Dr. Daniel Goleman. If you heard of Daniel Goleman, he is considered to be the most regarded figures in the area of emotional intelligence. The Science of Meditation, and that's the book. And Dr. Richard Davidson says, awareness gives us 50% of the cure. If we diagnose what is happening in the mind appropriately, if we know where the problem is, 50% of cure comes. It is empowerment. Awareness is empowerment, just like, right? AIE. AIE. Awareness is empowerment. AIE, if you understood this. Awareness is empowerment. That's what we are going to do right now. Let's be aware of ourselves. Aware of ourselves. Let's see what is it that is causing pain, misery, agony, and discomfort in the mind. And then we'll look at how to take a step beyond. Great. Yeah. Fabulous. Lovely to see your responses. And before we get in, I need a quick response from you that all of us now are ready to go for this, so that for the next 30 minutes, with all your attention and awareness, we are going through this model, this framework called the human trap. Just write ready to go, RTG. RTG means we are all ready to go. If you want to have a glass of water, please do that right now, and keep your pen and your notepad ready. Lovely. Lovely to see that. So let's all get onto it. Now, human trap is an acronym. Each of these elements are scientifically validated through more than 500 research papers on brain, that what are those things that happens outside which causes challenges and pain inside. So different neuro pathways are responsible for this. We are not getting into the biology or the physiology of it. We are going to see through our experiential journey what has happened, what causes that pain. So one by one, we'll unfold the human trap. So let's get onto it. The first one, H. H stands for holding on trap. Holding on trap. What is it? Holding on trap is our brain has a neuropathway, certain capabilities to go back in the memory lane and bring in a chunk of memory, and that chunk of memory starts running in the present moment and creating pain and misery in the mind. Simple. That means some past memory which comes to the present and it runs. We stay in that past event, and that past event causes a lot of pain and misery. Many of us, we have extra human trap. Extra holding on trap means we have a tendency to time and again go back, bring that past miserable memory and suffer from that. What happened yesterday? What happened last week? How I lost a promotion, how my boss scolded me, how I lost money, somebody cheated me, I lost an examination or missed an examination, whatever. All those past memory keep coming and they make my mind completely negative. This is called the holding on trap, wherein few neuropathways and some organs in the brain, they are responsible to do this, and we suffer from that. Let me give you an example. It's an extreme example, of course. In one of my workshops, during the tea break, a gentleman came to me, and his name was Tripathi. Tripathi told me that, Sandip, I have been suffering from this holding on trap for last 20 years. Why? Because 20 years ago, I qualified for the civil services mains examination, and in the interview board, I faced the interview board, and for 30 minutes, it was so good. In fact, I was almost given the assurance that I'm going to get through. In the last 5 minutes, I had an argument with the chairman of the board, so much so that I used certain abusive language. And instantly, the chairman of the board told me that we know you are capable, but your attitude do not match the administrative services. So we are rejecting you. And that moment keep coming to me every morning when I get up. He was a very senior official. When the workshop was happening, he was, I think, associate vice president of a company. But he said, my life is miserable because I dislike my job. I feel that I have lost what I deserved because of that one incident. Every morning I get up with so much of misery that I could not become an IAS officer. Still, it is running in my mind. so often. I asked Tripathi ji, I said, is it worth it to carry such a thing, such a baggage with you for lifelong and suffering from it? He said, no, 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 I know it. I absolutely know that it's not worth it, but I cannot help it. Later on, when we worked together, I helped him and he could come out of it. I'll be narrating this success story day after tomorrow, how he could come out of it. One practice, which we'll all go through that practice, which helped him come out of this challenge. It's about holding on to something so hard that we cannot leave it. Bear hug, as they call it. We hold on to a past memory, and that memory causes so much of pain and misery that I cannot just help be happy. What you need to do? Release it. That's all of us we know. Let go of it. But how to let go of it? That's what, of course, we'll learn tomorrow and day after. But holding on trap, it makes life miserable because we cannot leave it. Makes life miserable. So HMLM. If you understood what I mean by this, so many of us, we can relate with this. HMLM means our holding on trap makes our life miserable. If you do not know how to let go, just write HMLM if you agree, if you understood what exactly. Yeah. What exactly we need to do. Yeah. Lovely, 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 lovely to see that. So I presume all of us, we understood what exactly does it mean. So H stands for holding on trap, means we are holding on to past memory so hard that that is causing a misery in me. Some people also have past memory tendencies. Every time I look back what happened yesterday, day before yesterday, last week, and that memory keeps coming to mind, I cannot live in the present. I live in the past all the time. And if it is extreme, we have to take charge. But let me tell you, all of us, if we are human, we have human trap. All of us, we have this tendency. Some people may be having a little higher degree of this. Now moving on to the next one. U. U stands for uncertainty trap. Uncertainty trap. And this is almost like a mirror image of the holding on trap. Holding on trap is what has happened and it is causing misery. And uncertainty trap is, in the present moment, I project a negative image to the future, a negative occurrence to the future. I say, oh my God, tomorrow there is an examination, I will fail in that examination. Day after tomorrow, there's a presentation I have to make before the board and I will make a mess of it. Will I have a disease? Will I lose my job? Will I die? All these things, all of us will die. There is no denial of the fact. But many of us, we have a fear of death. We have a fear of losing a job, money, relationships, catching an infection, so many things, or doing bad in the examination. All these things that happen by saying that what will happen tomorrow is a bad thing that's going to happen, because I'm creating a negative image of the future and suffering from that. In the last 2 years, or maybe a little more than that, after COVID, I have worked with more than maybe 5,000 people or so. And believe me, the majority of them, most of them were suffering because of uncertainty trap. What will happen? This was probably the most predominant traps of the last 2-3 years. Because of COVID, of course, there were reasons why it would happen, or we will have that kind of negative future thought. But do you know what happens in the process? Not just that we are suffering now, we are creating a miserable future. We are creating a hopeless future. Reason being, the more and more we think that future is going to be bad, I will have disease, I'll have death, I'll have loss of job. So what will happen? I will suppress my immunity. Mentally, I'll be so stressed, my immunity will go down. My creativity, my open thinking, my thinking mind will be foggy. I cannot think clearly. So when we are in uncertainty trap, when we are getting into the uncertainty trap, we are creating a miserable future. We are creating a miserable future. Not just that we are suffering now. So uncertainty trap creates a miserable future. UCMF. Just write that if you understood this. And we all can come out of it. Believe me, trust me, when we are going to understand what is the miracle formula, all of us, we have that power. Unfortunately, we are not exercising that power. Just write that if you understood what exactly is it. Uncertainty trap, it is creating a miserable future. UCMF, just write that. So let's not create the future miserable. Let's create a wonderful future. That's a possibility when we know, when we learn what is going to happen. Again, if you go by the neuroscientific understanding of uncertainty, we can all find out what is happening in different parts of the brain, so that this is the outcome of that. We can use certain techniques to overcome those challenges. That's what we'll learn tomorrow and day after. Moving on to the next one. So uncertainty trap is what we understood. Now we'll go to one more domain. This is about relationship. All of us, every human being, we have relationships, and we suffer in our relationships a lot. Although relationships are so important to give us happiness, but unfortunately, many of us, we suffer in relationship, especially in three spaces, three dimensions of relationship. We'll see that what are those suffering arena. One, we suffer in loving relationships. Many times people ask me, what has relationship to do with the brain and the mind? But all of us, we appreciate, we understand. In fact, there are neural pathways and different kinds of neuron. Like mirror neuron is a set of neuron which has a lot to do with empathy and relationships. There are different parts, including the limbic system. There are many other parts which connect with others. If we do not organize our mind appropriately, we are going to have a difficulty, challenges, sufferings in relationships. One of the dimensions of suffering in relationship is in loving relationships. Means I love my child, I love my wife, I love my parents, I love my friends, but still in that loving space, also I am having so much of suffering. My child is not obeying, is not doing the right thing, she's not studying properly, she's doing something which I don't like, more into the digital mode. My wife, we have so much of conflict and so much of toxic interchange at times. Parents and in-laws, so many times we find the relationship is definitely loving. We don't want to lose that relationship, but in that loving relationship, we suffer. The second one is we suffer in hateful relationship. When there is hatred, I dislike my boss, I dislike my in-laws, I dislike my enemy, I dislike my competitor. All those people, I just want them to vanish, go away from my life, but they are there and is suffering. Most of the time, they are causing so much of distress in me. One example, one gentleman, Sanjay, who joined me a few months ago, and Sanjay was depressed. He was having depression, and the cause of depression was his boss, a very narcissist, control freak, person who was all the time abusing him in office, in meetings, and in many other places. And Sanjay was having, in the morning itself, he would be feeling so depressed, and he would not like to go to office. Later on, he could not even do things. He forgot what he's supposed to do because of this condition. Later on, he could come out of it because just he could change the internal programming about relationship. How to deal with the boss, because his program was not optimal, suboptimal program he was using. So by just changing that, he could create a different life for himself. So hateful relationship also we suffer. We suffer in loving relationships, we suffer in hateful relationships, and we also suffer in lost relationships. Meaning, many people we lose in our life. Either they pass away. Many people died in the last few years. Or they left us. Break up. And many times in the later part of our life, our children, they go away from our life. They go to some other place, far distant place, so much engrossed in their life. I see so many people who are suffering because their children, they do not have time. They're either abroad or in some distant place. And hardly got any time to interact with the parents. Again, a lost relationship. So we suffer in three dimensions of relationships. We suffer in loving relationships, we suffer in hateful relationships, and we suffer in lost relationships. But trust me, by doing certain things, we can alleviate these sufferings and come out happy. We still can be happy in spite of these things troubling us. So if you understood these aspects, just write LHL. L, loving relationships, H, hateful relationships, and L, lost relationships. If we can handle these three, trust me, we can handle so much of things in our life. Our life can be much, much better. LHL stands for suffering in loving relationships, hateful relationships, and lost relationships. And definitely, certainly we can overcome these with some approach. Yeah. So coming to the next is what we call autonomy trap. Autonomy trap. Autonomy means freedom, and every human being, all of us, we want freedom. But unfortunately, it's such a scarce commodity in the present moment. It's not available to us. Because of the modern lifestyle, we do not have time for ourselves, for our family, or to go for our hobbies. So much of challenges. Go to office and even you cannot do your work properly. Thousands of problems are there waiting for you. There are deadlines, there are bosses meetings, and so many other things. While going, you have traffic jam. Now this is so challenging that many people, in fact, I have worked probably the most with the corporate people, they are stressed because of this autonomy trap. They want some leave, they're not getting it. They have to go for some kind of a holiday, they're not getting a chance for that. So many problems. Financial problem, again, something that takes away our freedom, forces us to work, stretch ourselves to the whole day, still we do not finish our job. It's not just for the corporate people. You'll find even homemakers, they are even more challenged. The housewives or house husbands, you'll find they're also equally challenged, or more maybe. So many multitasking, so many things to be done, and no time. What I want to do, I cannot do. What I love to do, I'm not doing. And in fact, many of the people in private have told me that I feel like a slave in my job, in my life. That sense of being a slave is now sipping in, which is causing a lot of distress, a lot of stress, anxiety, pain in many of us. So this is about getting freedom. Autonomy is how to love what you are doing and how to organize things so that you get time for yourself. And it's a completely reversal kind of a thing. We do not depend on the job to get freedom. We first create that freedom to do the job. That's what, again, is a completely different way and approach to life. This is, if we are not knowing, not working properly, then we are going to suffer from autonomy trap. If you just understood that, just write, great that you do not have this problem, you're lucky. Great. So that's what Chandrasekharji is saying, that I do not have this problem. I'm fortunate. Very few are that fortunate. So just write, autonomy is freedom, or autonomy trap. A is to get freedom. AIF. Yeah, absolutely. Lovely, lovely. So many of you, if you have not had this problem, if you're getting time for yourself, if you're doing what you want to do, you are not just fortunate, you are already organized to a large extent. Lovely, great. So now moving on to the next. So far, before we proceed further, almost we have completed 4 out of the 6 traps. And we'll see that only these 6 traps are there. If we handle these 6 traps, we are sorted. But is it making sense? Are we connecting? Are we resonating with what is being shared? And is it valuable? If it is making sense and valuable, just write MSV. Valuable means, by knowing this, I can change certain things in me, and that's what we'll see. By having this awareness, which one is causing most of the pain in me? If is it making sense, please do write MSV. That means making sense and valuable. Great, thank you. Thank you. Now moving to the next one. Next trap is called name, fame, status, position, identity trap. And this is probably one of the most important traps that we can discuss. If we can handle this, almost like 70–80% we can handle in our life. Let me give an example just to explain what this trap is. What is it that is so important? Why I'm saying it is so important? All of us in our social life, we want a status, we want a position, we want to be admired, we want to be recognized, we want to be respected and loved. If that is somewhere going down, it can cause havoc inside. It can really cause depression, suicidal thought, and many more extreme situations. You can loosely also put it as ego trap. We want, I would not say ego, identity. I want to have an identity in the society. If that is coming down, I'm sensing that it is coming down, it can really create internal disturbance to the extreme. Let me give an extreme example, and this example may be a little disturbing as well, but it is worth taking to understand. Very unfortunate, very unfortunate example to take, but many times in the newspaper or on television, we see this news. Somebody in a premier institute, maybe IIT, maybe IIM or AIMS or Indian Institute of Sciences, some bright chap has, very bright child has committed suicide. So unfortunate. But let's look at why, what has caused this. Look at that child's journey. Right from the beginning, right from school, he or she has been admired, brilliant mind, amazing, so bright, so creative, such an intelligent brain he or she is. The teacher, parents, neighbors, students, friends, everyone would say that he's brilliant or she's brilliant. Now she also cracks one of the most difficult examination on the planet, probably, to get onto a top-notch institute in the country. And then suddenly finds that status is no more existing. It suddenly come down because everyone is as brilliant. So it has normalized. And not just that. Under certain situation, the teacher is saying, are you a fool? Do you have a brain? Do you understand? Now this completely shatters that identity of being brilliant. And that identity is dying. It's a death of an identity. When we experience that, in fact, scientifically also it's been seen that we have flickering of those signals which leads to suicidal thought, as if the physical body also wants to die. So that's the problem. This identity trap, it's not just for extreme condition. Whenever we are criticized, whenever somebody else is progressing, jealousy is one of the outcome of this. When somebody else is progressing, I am feeling so bad, feeling disturbed inside. So that's what is the identity trap. Whenever my relative identity is coming down, somebody boss scolds me in the meeting itself, I feel so discomfort, so much of internal discomfort is there. So this trap I call identity is paramount. Paramount is most important. Paramount means most important. IIP, if you understood this, just write IIP. Identity is, yes, very recently at IIT Kharagpur. In fact, I have been to many of the IITs, including IIT Kharagpur. I have seen so much of depression, so much of unfortunate faces, brilliant children, but they are completely, they have lost their sense of direction of life. And not everyone commits suicide, but definitely you can see that, sense that low feeling in the faces of these children. So again, it's not in the children only, it's in our life as well. So how to take charge of this? Again, possible, simple, and only thing that we need to practice. Miracle formula is having that answer to it. Now moving on to the last one, we call it equality or unfairness trap. Equality and unfairness trap. All of us, we have faced this. Something happens which is unfair in our life. Something injustice happening outside. I slogged the entire year, somebody else got the promotion. I tried so hard, but somebody cheated and got through the job. I wanted to get something and somebody else did some trick and got it away. I can give my example. A few years ago, I was standing in a queue, and that queue was hardly moving. It's such a slow moving queue to get the ticket. And suddenly somebody very powerful, apparently very powerful, having two bodyguards, maybe some kind of a leader or somebody political figure, he just chose not to be in that line, on that queue. He chose just directly to go to the counter and get his ticket and get away with it. I was fuming inside, not just me, probably everyone out there did not have the gut, did not have the courage to say protest, but definitely internally we are boiling and saying, what the nonsense happening out here? And just in the next moment, I realized, I stopped. I said, what the hell am I doing? One, I have already been disadvantaged because somebody else has taken away. And second, I'm cursing myself. I'm hurting myself by having those negative thoughts. So I just brought in this thought. I said, sometimes also I get some privilege because I know someone or I have some friend in some office. So I get little advantage there. That time I never say that this is injustice. I say, I'm so fortunate, lucky, I know somebody, so I got it little early. But now, since I am at the receiving end, I'm saying, oh, so much of injustice, unfair, this country is like this, why people are not learning? So again, I said, no, calm down, calm down. But trust me, many times in life, some conditions, some injustice, very, very difficult to digest, very difficult to handle. And we will see how we can overcome those as well. At least we'll proceed and progress and get rid of those challenges of life. So this is what human trap is all about. Only six things. And all these 6 things are suffered by, or they're there in everyone's life and causing suffering. Maybe somewhere it is high, somewhere it is low. Our job today, as I said, awareness is freedom. Awareness is what gives us the empowerment. It empowers us. Now we will have to figure out, where is my misery? What is it that is causing it? So today, this is one task for everyone. You have to, this will be sharing as well. This particular screen will get, or this picture will be getting, or a link will be getting, and you have to rate yourself in a scale of 1 to 10 in each of these traps. Find out for yourself, what is it which is leading to anxiety, worry, depression, or anger, fear, whatever it is, which is leading or which is causing suffering in your mind, where from it is germinating, where from it is coming. Once you know this, you yourself will find, yes, now I can see and I am feeling more empowered. That's for sure. Just give some time, reflect, and find it out. So this is one thing that you will do as a task. Our journey is to find out, to uncover, to manifest our happiest version. It's a journey, and every day we can move towards that happiest version and see that it is happening far quicker than we can expect if we are following a particular systematic process. Today's process was awareness. Know your misery. Know the source of your misery. If we know the source of your sufferings, you are empowered to take it out. If you know, diagnose the disease, you can heal the disease. That's what is the idea. This is the first framework that we learned. Yeah, where procrastination would fall. Procrastination would fall in, see, some of the things may fall in two, multiple. Yeah, procrastination typically falls one in the autonomy zone, in the autonomy area, where I will have some kind of lack of freedom for that, lack of time for that. One is that. Two, in the holding on trap. We have a tendency to hold on to certain things, to our habits, so that I will do something else but not do this. So holding on trap and autonomy trap together lead to procrastination. Just good that you put this question. Is it clear? Just write CC again, all of us. I admire the question. Yeah. So one, I have a tendency to do certain things which is routine. Breaking from the routine, do something else where I'm having less skill or no interest, I will hold on to the existing one. Two, I see that less time is there, less skill is there to adjust or to do this. Yeah, great. Now there is one more task which let's do it right now. Let me at least give you how we can do it. It's now 8:35. Can we all go for next 5 minutes? Can we all go for next 5 minutes and do a powerful task today? What is the task? Let's all of us first sit down quiet. Sit down straight. Great. Thank you. Thank you so much for the permission. My gratitude for that. Let's all come on camera and take a piece of paper. One paper, you can tear it from the notepad or take a fresh piece of paper. Take your pen or pencil, and now you are going to write certain things on that. Write certain things on that. What are those things? You would be writing what are the present misery or problems, sufferings that you are going through. Present. I'm not saying go back and find out what are the problems there in the past. In the present moment, whatever sufferings that you are going through, write down that. It may be that you lost money, or you lost a promotion, or there is a relationship issue, or there are issues with regard to your health, or you are expecting something to happen. It is not happening for a long time. You are feeling anxiety because of something. You don't know why you are feeling anxious. It's just happening. Many things. Just write whatever problem that you're going through. Write it with all intensity, and as if you are writing, you are not being part of it, just writing that I'm writing, this is the problem. And in the bracket, put the trap. So if you're writing that I have a relationship issue, this person, my wife or my child is not obeying me or whatever, or it may be a office related issue. Maybe you are not getting time. Stress is happening. Just write that in the bracket. Write down the trap, where from you feel it is coming. You can write 3 to 4 such issues on a piece of paper. Take about 2 minutes or maybe 2.5 minutes. Just write down that. All of us, let's all write down. Please do write right now, and with your camera on so I can see all of your writing. Now, once you are through with this, the next activity is, some of you can do it right now. Some of you can do it little later if the condition, or you cannot do right now. You have to get a ball. Let me bring it on this slide so that you can understand it. What exactly you need to do? You have to get a crystal ball or a ceramic ball, and then put this paper. You can tear this paper and put inside that ball and lit it up. Take a matchbox and just burn that paper. While burning it, if you are doing right now, you can do it, or you can just do after the session. While burning it, you will sit straight, look at that burning paper, feel completely relaxed. That feeling is important. Feel completely relaxed, telling your mind that I have destroyed my sufferings today. I have destroyed my sufferings today. That you will be saying to your mind, completely relaxed, observing, looking at that flame, and feeling that your sufferings have been destroyed. Just need to feel and just need to see and observe that. Day after tomorrow, I'm going to explain scientifically what exactly this technique does to your brain. We'll discuss about that on day 3. What is the power of it? How your internal things get reorganized when you are doing certain activities, and we'll have such many more activities, and which are very scientifically grounded. Now, so there are 2 activities which I have suggested you to do. After taking this, after doing this, as it is almost like burnt, you have to take a picture of this and then post it in the group. And you also need to take a picture of the human trap scoring sheet. You can do it on your notepad, and write down in each of the human traps, what is your score in a scale of 1 to 10. So write that thing down, take a screenshot and take a picture of that as well and put it in the WhatsApp group. Now, if you are doing all these things, if you are doing all the activities, I'm going to give you some activity on a daily basis. If you're completing these tasks, I'm going to give you some gift, and not some small gift. It is a very interesting, very wonderful gift. One of the things which is very dear to me. If you want gift, just write G for gift. G for gift of just lovely. What I'm going to give is, every day, if you're completing your task and putting it in the WhatsApp group, we'll be tracking. Our accountability coach is there. Gokila would be tracking all this. If you're completing your tasks, I'm going to give you the ebook of my first book, E-State of the Devas. It's a fiction which brings neuroscience and spirituality together. It's a fascinating fiction, and it was bestseller for quite some time. And I'll be sharing this book with all of you if you're completing your task. And this will be free apart from the book that I'm going to share. So please do the task. More than for the book, I would urge all of you to do the task, because I trust in one thing. Only thing that will work and transform you is your commitment. If you are committed, it is guaranteed that you will change. Committed to the task, committed to yourself, doing the techniques every day, it is guaranteed. Absolutely, there is no way that you will fail, but your commitment is the essence. So your commitment, please do it for your sake, if not for the book, but please do it for yourself, your transformation, understanding this course and applying it further in the future. So please do it. And I'm sure all of us, we will commit and change. So please do write, I see, I commit, I see, ABC, I see, C for commit, I see. All of you, please commit. And this is for yourself. If you are not taking charge of your mind, your happiness, nobody else will care. Please do this. Please do this. This is my sincere urge and request. Please take charge of your mind, take charge of your happiness, and you will see things will open up. You will find a different lifestyle, life quality altogether. This is my sincere urge to all of you. Before we conclude, would you like to have the recording of today's session? If you want, just write yes. We'll be sharing the recording of today's session, but with a condition. The condition is, all of you, please go to the places where you probably missed, could not understand, revise and understand clearly if any gap was there. And any of you, if you missed some part of it because of internet issues or any other issue, please go through this again. And also, I would urge all of you to subscribe to the channel. It will be shared through a YouTube link. Please do subscribe to the channel, so that later on, many good stuff is there already. You'll get a lot of powerful stuffs there, and future also you'll get the notification if you're subscribing. So please do that. And as part of that's also part of the task. So please do subscribe, and please do revise. That's important. Please do revise. Please give some more time, reflect on each of the traps. And I'm sure that awareness itself will set you free. Almost like 50% of progress will happen by this awareness alone. Now, having said that, for a moment, let's take a pause and pray for the entire humanity. A lot of misery, pain, unhappiness, a lot of difficulty the entire globe is going through because of corona, because of economic crisis. So many people on this planet, they don't even have the privilege to have food. Let's pray for everyone's well-being and happiness, and whatever we can do for their happiness. Let's pray for them, and let's pray for each other out here. And thank you very much. Before we conclude this session, can you please give me a quick one-word feedback about today's session? How do you like it? Was it good, awesome, excellent? Whatever that comes to your mind, just if you can, one word. Right. Excellent. Great. Thank you. Great. Good. Amazing. Great session. Too fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. I'm feeling so privileged. Thank you for your wonderful words. And definitely we are going to make a difference to ourselves. And make best use of this program. Thank you very much. May God bless all of us. Take care. Tomorrow at 7:30, again, we are connecting. Take care. God bless.